Oh, baby. I can't wait for Cobb. Hey, man, the Cowboys are the best team in the National Football League. How you doing? Watch this. Bang! Holy shit. Dak Prescott is playing lights out. Tug of Viola. And then you have, hey, the Bucs are 2-0 too, man. Shit. The battle of the undefeateds on Monday Night Ball, next Monday night. The Buccaneers in Tampa and the 2-0 Eagles. Two offensive juggernauts. Let's bring Cobb in. He's shaking his head going, oh, my God.
Hey, the Eagles got to play better, man. They're not going to beat Tampa the way they played. If they don't play better, man, they are not going to beat Tampa because, you know, with the way the secondary looked and the linebackers, and you know those linebackers they have with Tampa Bay, man, they got a defense, and they're playing well. They got to play much better if they're going to beat Tampa Bay. And I didn't think I was going to be saying this because, you know, I didn't know how Baker was going to look with them, but he's playing well. Come on. You know they got some good wideouts. Come on. These guys help them win a Super Bowl. So these are not, you know, some kids off the street somewhere. You know, these are professionals. And Tampa Bay's got a good football team, and they're playing like it. Eagles got to play better football, man. They got to play better on both sides of the ball, or they are not beating Tampa Bay.
What's your most disappointing takeaway in the first 2 weeks?
The most disappointing, boy, you know, and there's competition. Well, of course, you know, the passing game it's been erratic. It doesn't look like there's a lot of confidence. I don't know that Jalen's really seeing the field well. I don't know if I put that as one because, you know, I look at the defense. That last game, did they cover anybody? Did they stop them? I mean, the line was rushing the passer well, too. They don't get a chance. It's 1, 2, 3. The ball's out, man. I mean, come on. Cover somebody. I mean, and the thing about it is you got to move around on defense if you're in the secondary. The corners move up and back. The linebackers, you know where you got to be, but you want to give them different looks. You know, you got to realize that it's not easy to read what you're in if you just give a disguise and you talk about it. You know, you give them certain look, but you see guys out there, some of these guys out there playing like the rookies, you know. You go to your spot and you stay right. No, move around. You know where you got to be when the ball is snapped. But, you know, they got to do a better job of that because and sometimes you go up and jam the wideout. You change the situation because let's say the quarterback comes up. He's going to the guy. He know the routes he's running. He's planning on going to this guy. 1, 2, 3, he's throwing that ball. If the guy's jammed a little bit, it throws the timing off. You give your lineman a chance to get there. But how do you expect these guys to be rushing? They figure, man, these guys are not covering anyway. I mean, eventually somebody's going to come in the huddle and say, look, man, this guy hasn't blocked me all day. You guys aren't covering anybody. I mean, really, if I look at the kid, Jalen Carter, you know, in the first game, he should have had 2 or 3 sacks. He's beating his man. Boom. Come on. Hey, look, fellas, we got to stop them from 1, 2, 3 where the ball's out. We got to give them different looks. You know, sometimes I would even tell one of the linebackers, go over and line up on the tight end, give them a different look and move back. You know, some of these guys, they don't get it. I said, look, you're giving the other guys too much credit when you don't move around because they're going to make mistakes. They're going to think you're in this and you're not in that. See,
Gary, I want to throw this at you here. I talked to Jimmy Johnson this morning, and he said something about offensive play callers. And when you watch Mike McCarthy, there's a pacing now that's better than
nice job.
There is a situation where the plays are coming in better. And Jimmy said this, a guy like McCarthy versus a guy like Kellen Moore, and I'm going to tie it in to Brian Johnson. He goes, when you've got a really great play caller and you got a guy who's a head coach play caller like Andy Reid or McCarthy, these guys are trying to win the game. They're not trying to score points. They're not trying to put yards up. They're trying to win games.
Correct.
And and maybe Shane Steichen has been underestimated because, you know, 1 week it was this guy, 1 week it was that guy, 1 week it was running the ball, 1 week it was this, but there was continuity to it, and the offense ran on a rhythm. There's just no rhythm with this. Do you think, Mike, Nick Sirianni should take the play calling over?
Well, I haven't been pleased with it, and I don't know all that they're running. I mean, I haven't been pleased with it. I don't know that I would do that right now. The thing I think is, I know that one of the things they were doing is they were trying to take away their passing game. They want to make them be patient, and finally they said, good, you're going to play this dime. If you're going to play a dime, we're going to run the ball down your throat. So, some of that was one of the issues, which you don't want to, if somebody is, they'll do anything to stop your deep passing game. Well, then you got to be patient. You're going to have to be patient. So that's some of it. I just don't think that he had a good feel for what they were doing. And I know that they were throwing everything in the kitchen sink at them. They had guys lining up where you got 5 down, across the middle. And then they got 3 and 4 guys lining up deep. So they take away the deep ball. So this is the kind of thing where they just got to relax. Let's see what they're in. What do you see? You talk, come to the sideline, you talk. Johnson, he's got to be able to talk to the guys to see what they're in, because they didn't seem like they identified what they were in and then make up a game plan for it and you attack it, Now, I did like the fact that they ran the ball. Seemed like that was part of it. Look, they cannot stop this run. So we're going to keep running it. And they ran all the way down the field, calling the same play over and over and over. If that's what you got to do, you do that. But one way or another, you've got to identify what they're in, because you got to realize the players are saying, hey, what are they in? Come to the sideline, communicate. What are they doing? And we've got to make an adjustment.
Garry, did you think that the Eagle coaches on offense took the ball out of Jalen's hands with 10 minutes left in the game because they became one-dimensional like in 2021?
Yeah.
They stuck with what they were doing best. The whole flare up on the sidelines with AJ and him. Hey, look, I'm not making anything out of it. All I'm saying, it was a point in the game where it had carried over from, I think, the New England game where Jalen was just reading these wideouts, and I think it kind of overflowed a little bit. I'm not saying it's a thing, but it was pointed out, and to me it emphasizes how that he's not seeing the second wide receiver open, and they just decided to go, no, we're going to run the ball 48 times. Do you think that was a cognizant thing to go, let's just stop throwing the ball. They can't stop the run. Let's go win a game.
I definitely think that's part of what they did. I mean, because you don't run the ball 16 times. You go down, they had a 16-play drive or something, and they had 14 runs. That doesn't happen by accident. That's something that you choose to do. And you know what? If that's what you got to do, then that's what you do, because they needed to develop some confidence. Once they started running the ball, you started developing some confidence that they had confidence in those particular plays. With what they were doing in the passing game, there's no way you could have confidence in it because they weren't successful. Jalen's either just throwing the ball away, he's checking down to somebody that has already got a guy almost all over him, and they weren't getting anything done. So I think they made the right move. In fact, before the game, I thought they were going to have to just flat out just run the ball because what's his name? The GM who was really Belichick's son. Just about Flores. Flores is Belichick's stepson.
17 years he spent in New England.
So you knew, and they probably talked. Come on, they talked during the week. And what was successful against them, this is what they did. So they were going to make the Eagles be patient. And Jalen wasn't sure about what they were in because of some of the things they were doing late. So he can't turn the ball over. You can't turn the ball over and lose the game. So he started being more conservative, and they went and they just ran the ball. If that's what they got to do before they get put together a game plan for that. But they got to have a game plan for that. You can't let people just take away your key weapons, or you're going to have a blow up. And the blow up, come on, how many times are there blow ups in the game? It's usually it doesn't get on the screen but guys are giving choice words to each other during the game. Now, you know that, we know that.
Yep.
So, and you know what? If you care about the game, it's going to happen sometime, because everybody's got all their emotion in it. You're playing, there's a fight going on. Sometimes you're going to have the emotions go over it. And if that doesn't ever happen, then you don't care enough.
No, I completely 100% agree with this. And I'll say this to you too.
Yeah.
There's something else that we're noticing a lot more. Hurts is getting hit in the pocket more, Gary. Yeah. I mean, he's getting hit more. And to me, there is such an emphasis on him throwing the ball instead of doing the stuff he did a year ago that, to me, why are you trying to change? It's almost like they're fighting their identity.
Well, they took away some of the runs, though. They have additional people outside, and they're kind of playing to take that away because they want to make them be patient, see? Because, they've had so many big plays. It's just bang, bang, and, they go deep, even though they did have opportunities, because the routes to AJ really, it's a shame he didn't hit one to him because they're very close and really had a pass interference penalty on one of them. So I think the plays are there, but you can't just force the ball. If you got three guys sitting back there, like on the one interception, hey, you can't make throws like that. You got about three guys on the guy you're throwing the ball to, and you throw it in there anyway. You can't do that.
How about this, Gary?
Yeah.
So you go in week 1 from Belichick to Flores, and now you got Todd Bowles on Monday. I'm going to say this. They may not have the superstar quarterbacks in their building, but these guys know how to stop offenses. And do you think some of the game tape on Hurts a year ago, all these coordinators are starting to get the book? You know this, man.
Yeah.
The number one priority for a quarterback and his growth each year when we watch it is watching him get better fundamentally and watching him get better because everyone knows these coordinators. It's like a pitcher, right?
That's right.
You know what a hitter can take. Maybe he can't take the outside curveball. Maybe he can't take high and inside. Yeah. And you start to get a book on these guys. You think that's what some of these coordinators are starting to do to Hurts in that offense a little bit?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, Belichick and Flores. Come on, these guys are not. They didn't just happen to the game, man.
25 years together.
Come on, this is what they do. So. They gave him looks, and they took things away from him. And as I said, if you're not sure what you're doing, you're not throwing the ball and turn the ball over, end up losing the game. Now, that's, if you got to be more conservative where you're throwing the ball away, you're not sure. I'd rather have that because you're not playing against the best teams in the league. So they got out of there with 2 W's with some ugly football. So we will take the W's, but they got to play better. They know they got to play better. And it starts with, the coaches.
Hey, Gary, I'm more impressed with the Buccaneers 2-0 start than I am with the Eagles 2-0 start.
Correct. I mean, I saw it. That's why I said if they don't play better, they're not beating the Bucs, man.
Down in Tampa too.
This could be a tough game.
What's your biggest concern on defense?
Biggest concern on defense, I guess, man.
Covering?
I guess, yeah, covering. I think so.
They're giving up 340 yards in passing offense. And get this, to Mac Jones and Kirk Cousins. Now, Kirk Cousins is going to the Hall of Fame of fantasy football. Yeah. Okay? He's going to the Hall of Fame fantasy football.
He racks up those numbers.
Because he puts them numbers up, but 340 yards in pass offense is quite a bit in 8 quarters of football.
They're not doing a good job of covering people. They're just not doing a good job because the quarterbacks are able to get rid of the ball so quickly. Come on, man. Tighten up on things. That's why I say jam some guys sometimes. Delay their release. You got a good pass rush. All you got to do is take away, one or two. Take away those guys sometime where you take away the first 2 options, and you're probably going to have some sacks or some good plays are going to happen. Now, they did force some turnovers, so I give them some credit there. Fortunately, they forced turnovers, and we'll take that. But they know they got to play better. I mean, Anybody looks at that tape, they know they got to do a better job of coverage, and you can't just let guys 1, 2, 3, because that's what Baker Mayfield, he's getting rid of that football. I saw him on the tape. It's 1, 2, 3, and that ball is out. So you got to delay some of that.
Hey, I'll say this to you too, Gary. I put a call into the NovaCare Center, and I made a missing persons report on Nolan Smith. Yeah. I mean, dude, I mean, if Reddick is hurt, I know.
Yeah, Reddick is not, his hand, and I kind of thought that was going to happen. You know how important your hands are. You're trying to pass.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Grabbing,
your hands are important. If you can't grab, if you don't have your strength in your hands, that makes things very difficult. So I didn't think he was going to really do much, because I'm saying, like, I know, man, if your hands are right, it's hard to pass rush.
It is totally, and it's hard to engage with everything. But we have to be impressed with one thing on that defense. Carter and Davis Jordan Davis has maybe been the most improved player on the entire football team,
without a doubt.
And he's now, instead of being a 2-down guy, he's starting to show them that, even though the center was out, well, I told everyone last week, Gary, if the center's out, you got to dominate, and he did.
That's right. He did.
I mean, you've got to be encouraged by the 2 tackles inside.
Very, very much so. Very much so. And you could see some of it, and that's where you've got that chemistry in there. Guys are competing with each other. That the last thing Jordan Davis wants to see when everybody came in there, and he can't go anywhere without them saying, like, man, your buddy, man, because this guy's a player and everything. He'd gone home and rolling in the bed. It's just like, the guys do that all the time, man. And that competition, that, and it's not really, jealousy, but it's good old fashioned competition. It's the best thing he could have. And it's got him on that hot seat, and he's lost weight, playing with a lot more energy. He's got a lot more stamina, and he really has been a pleasant surprise. That's why I say, if they would delay them getting rid of the ball every play, those guys would have more sacks, because they've been beaten.
And it would help the secondary.
Come on, man. The guys are beating the first game. They weren't blocked. They were coming free, but they let them get rid of the ball so fast. And so I know that they're going to expect to do that this week. Tampa's going to expect to do that.
I'm going to put you on the hot seat now.
Yeah.
Is the Dallas Cowboys the best team in the NFL?
It's the best team I've seen. And something I heard when I came on, they're doing a great job of calling plays on the offense. I mean,
the quick pacing,
they just got a great flow, man.
Gary, the flow, the pacing, getting the play in on time.
That's right. Yeah.
Dak looks so much better with Mike McCarthy as the play caller.
Yes,
than
he
Kellen
does.
Moore.
And the job they're doing with the different backs they have of giving these guys all the shot, I'm going.
Even CeeDee Lamb looks good.
That's right. I'm going like, man, where are all these guys coming from?
Yeah.
They're sending them running backs and everything. And then, the defense. That's why, one of the things, the Eagles are going to have to do, look, if they're not just going to be able to drop back and throw the ball. I mean, that pass rush, those boys are coming.
Gary, he's not LT. He's not LT. He's not LT.
I know. No, he's not LT. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, with all the guys, they got some of the other guys. Some of these guys I never even heard of. I'm going like,
hey, Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore looks like Stephon Gilmore a couple years ago when he was the Player of the Year.
Yeah, I knew that was a great addition, that they brought in another quality corner, and they got a good football team, but that's just 2 games against 2 teams that didn't play well, really, and the kid with the Jets throwing all those interceptions. I mean,
the milk hunter.
Yeah, so
Zach Wilson, man,
no, he's not ready for prime time.
No,
but I tell you what, all this is doing, man, we're gonna have some fun later on in this season.
Oh, you bet. 2 last questions for you here. The loss of Avonte Maddox means what to the Eagle defense?
It's really going to mean some change up. I think they might have Bradbury playing in that slot some. because he was working there during training camp. They had him working in there in the slot, and they were doing it because sometimes, you know, people like, let's say, you know, you got a team like Kansas City, which really I was at the Super Bowl saying, man, put Bradbury on, you know, on Travis, you know, because he's a better matchup than anybody they have, and he's a good matchup against tight ends because he's tall as a tight end, and he's quicker. And just as quick as most of the time. So he's a good matchup. So I think they're going to see him working inside some, and some of these kids are going to have to step up. I mean, that's as simple as that. I don't know if they're ready, but we're surely going to find out. But some of those kids are going to have to step up there. I thought Job did a decent job, you know, but he's got to play better. And
absolutely. Garry,
they got some good wide receivers they're going against.
Last question for you here.
Yeah.
Do you think Howie makes more free agent moves, or do you think he takes some of next year's draft equity? Because they've a ton of picks, all the way from ones down. Do you think they make some type of move, or do you think they'll wait and see how this thing plays out? Because, like you said, you know, if they were 1-1, there might be more of a sense of urgency to do something in a trade. But since they're 2-0, and if they could come out of this thing here limping into a 3-0 record, you got to think that maybe he sits and lets the thing grow a little more. What do you think he's thinking right now when it comes to personnel? Because I think they're thin at safety, and they're clearly thin at backer right now still.
That's right. Well, I think that what they're going to do is they're going to see if they can do it with what they've got. And then if maybe after a game, if it doesn't look well, then I think they're going to do something and utilize some of their future capital. But I think right now they're going to give these kids a chance and see what they've got. And if they don't show up on Sunday, I think, you know, next week, you know, Howie's going to be busy, you know. So we'll see what these kids, because you're going to have to utilize some of them, you know, this week. They're clearly going to get a chance, and they're going to get it, you know, in prime time. And you know, you're playing against some, I mean, you know, they got some quality wide receivers. These guys helped them win a Super Bowl. Really, you know, we're trying to win 2 in a row.
How about this, Garry? Listen to this. Mike Evans is averaging 118.5 yards a game, and he's averaging 20 yards a catch.
Hey.
Godwin's averaging 60 yards a game and 11 yards a catch. I mean, if you're having issues struggling covering people, they may not have a running game, but I'll tell you what, man, they got a front seven.
That's right.
They have a front seven that can probably compete with what you have in New England. There's some good ball players on that defense, especially in the linebacking corps.
Without a doubt. I mean, they got some, you know, we wish we could get their linebackers.
Shaq Barrett, Devin White.
Yeah,
I mean,
without a doubt. They do what you really want to see linebackers do nowadays, which these guys can cover. Of course, they can play the run, and they're smart. You know, that's the thing is I'd like to see these guys be smarter. They got to talk. Sometimes they're not talking enough. And, you know, when you have young guys come into a game, sometimes they come in and what they say, the booty's tight and they don't want to talk. Man, you got to communicate, you know, and they've got to do a better job that, because they're going to get attacked. I mean, they're going to be going after them. They're going to be working the middle of the field because, you know, teams have had a lot of success. So they got the work cut out for them, but they got a week in order to show. And if they don't get something done, you're going to see some big moves probably the week after by Howie.
Let me sneak another one in on you. How do you think the coaching overall with Nick and everyone? Hey, like special teams and everything and all around, I mean, how it's been.
I don't think they've done a good job. I don't think that you know, I don't think they've been terrible, because I think that, you know.
You're 2-0.
Yeah, we're 2-0. And Belichick and Flores, you know, they've beaten a lot of people. So,
yes,
you know, they do a good job. So, and I appreciate what Jalen did, as I said, and maybe they told him, look, if you're not sure about what you're seeing, you know, throw the ball out of bounds, run, get what you can do. So that's one of the reasons they won the game. If he'd have been throwing the ball, turn the ball over 4 or 5 times, you know, it'd be some L's on there. So. But going forward, they got to figure this thing out, man. They got the time to do it. So I want to see an improved offense when they get on the field against Tampa Bay, because I think Tampa Bay is going to score some points.
Absolutely. Garry, thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it.
All righty. Have a good
You
one.
got it. Don't forget to catch Garry Cobb, Fox 29 in Philadelphia, Fox affiliate there. We appreciate him coming aboard with us. Don't forget, The Rock will be on with us at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Also, please don't forget, in a couple of weeks, Big Sills is going to be rolling into town here with our good friends at Hooters, King of Prussia, and also the 7 locations in the Northeast area. The proud home of the National Football Show is indeed Hooters. Go online to northeasthooters.com to find one of the 7 locations nearest to you for you to understand exactly what I've been talking about for 40 years. It's the 40th anniversary of Hooters this year, and they're celebrating with us here. By the way, tonight's doubleheader and Monday Night Football, if you don't want to go into any one of the locations, go to HootersToGo.com, get the food, bring it back to your crib, watch the game tonight, have a great time this week, and get a chance to go into any one of the locations and experience what I've been talking about. Tuesdays, you buy 10 wings, you get 10 bonus. Wing Wednesdays, 1983, all you can eat. It's a 40-year tradition. 6 items, $6, all the happy hour specials, northeasthooters.com. Go into any one of the 7 locations. When you do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.